Hi there, and welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. This week, I am joined by Mr. Joe Druitt.
Hey!
I have Matthew Barber here as well.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And Simo. No, he left us for Australia. Not that I'm bitter.
You're really hammering that point.
You're really going hard on Simo not being here.
That's right. And this week, we are trying Timothy Taylor beer. And that's all I'll say.
Not the man himself.
So
That's just, Timothy Taylor is on trial. What's he on trial for?
no taste. But that's fine, we'll move on.
Shots fired, and we haven't even got through the intro.
Trying to get a shot in before the ref's even rung the bell. Oh, this one's going to be feisty, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
I'm
fine.
going to put it out
I'll
there.
hand over to Barber for the hot topic.
Yeah, you put me onto Hop Topic instead of getting onto our massive argument about this beer. Hop Topic, technically speaking, guys, this isn't news. I thought I would share something with you. I'm afraid this year, as happens most years, I got another year older, as we all do. It's depressing, but a good haul of presents. Well. Yeah, I know, right? Another 5 years or so, and I might be able to grow a beard. Let's see. I'm not holding out much hope, though. However, that said, pretty good haul of presents, it got to be said. And of particular note for that was this, which you chaps can probably see on camera.
Oh, very nice.
So, for the listeners at home, ladies and gentlemen, we have got, written by Mark Dredge, the Beer Bucket List. Over 150 essential beer experiences from around the world. So, I was debating about what to do with this in many ways. There's a few in here which are, a bit of a foregone conclusion. There you go. Dublin, Guinness, that sort of thing. But there are some really interesting other ones. There's also some that will surprise you. I've spotted in this list also. Drink in Wetherspoons pubs. Okay.
Tick.
Nailed that early doors. But it's all split by different continents. So there's bits for North America, there's bits for Europe, there's section on UK individually, UK and Ireland, Australia and New Zealand and the rest of the world. I was going to suggest maybe I'd pick a page at random and say, well, whatever is on here, we are going to do. However, I suppose it would also be, we probably want to do a little bit of, we would do a Australia and New Zealand. I think that would involve the four of us, but also maybe...
I think we'd want to do one we're more likely to actually achieve and bring that achievement to the listeners.
Maybe,
exactly.
Maybe Europe.
Yeah, Europe, UK.
Let's localise in Europe. A random page in Europe,
exactly.
let's say.
So, there is North America. I just opened. There is one I wanted to talk about. I don't know if we actually got around to doing it, but I know we were talking about doing one of these in here is for for our Antipodean friends. Drink Stone and Wood Pacific Ale. So that's one I think we were maybe either we did or potentially are looking at an episode for that. But okay, we'll try one in Europe.
If I'm honest, you lost me at Antipodean.
Yeah. What's that?
I don't actually know what that word means.
Great, I love it. I love the confidence that you used it, though, so that's good.
I think Antipodean is people in Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Someone Google it. Maybe I'll have a Google of it and find out.
Well, to be fair, Rich does need to reprise his role as the fact checker of the
I forgot
podcast.
about that.
Yeah. Also, I'm
Fact
severely
check,
dyslexic.
baby, fact check. I'm sorry.
And that's
That's a word that you've got to spell.
yeah.
We're going to turn out. It's going to actually mean. It's going to mean something with four legs or something.
There are no results for Antipodean. They've got anteaters. So I've got images of anteaters.
That's brilliant. I love that you've got the word so wrong that Google's on. I've got no idea.
I'm doing it.
You've got to help me out here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anti. A-N-T-I. P-O.
Antipodean. No, still just pictures of anteaters.
The fact that you kind of didn't say the end of the word makes it a very strong case that you're typing in something completely undistinguishable.
An Antipodean, relating to Australia or New Zealand, used by inhabitants of the Northern Hemisphere.
Not.
And it doesn't
not
matter that I
anti-to.
just made that up. No one will mind.
And Barber, you didn't think we'd get more than 2 minutes out of this segment.
That's it. Spelling. That's what we've done. In the beer podcast that's running out of a few ideas. Okay.
Quick, we need some more filler.
Quick, let's get some filler in. Typically, you go in here and what do you reckon? Pick a random beer thing in Europe that everyone should do.
The Bermondsey Mile.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, that is a good one. That I have actually spotted that in here. That's a UK one.
Yeah.
And I think did you say you've done a little bit of?
I've done. I've
been in that neck of the
sampled.
woods, haven't you?
I've put my toe in the water of the Bermondsey Mile, but there are plenty more archways to walk under and try different beers. So we will do some more of that.
I think let's take that and do that one. There is a beer spa.
Okay.
Yes, we just talked about a beer spa a while ago. It might have even been a year ago. It was in the Czech Republic, wasn't it, that did a beer spa?
Maybe that's the one we go for in that case. Because also
a beer spa, yes. Like, the healing properties are there for it.
Rich, I'll tell you now, next time you come over to my house, I'll pull you a bath and I'll just pour some Landlord in it. Some Timothy Taylor Landlord, and you can get right in.
It's fine, I'll be really hydrated because it's just water.
Maybe if you drank enough of it, you might start talking some sense as well.
Right, listeners, I must jump in here because you've caught us at a bit of a heated debate that's going on here. I'm trying to play the kind of like the mediator between Matt and Rich right now, because they are very much on opposing sides of Timothy Taylor's. I think before we get into said heated debate, maybe let's unpack Timothy Taylor's for those of our international audience that maybe aren't familiar with the brewery.
Basically,
Timothy
it's great,
Taylor.
and Rich doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay, right. So, with that being said, Timothy
It's
Taylor
fine. I'm calm.
is a Yorkshire-based brewery that has been brewing beer for 160 years, over 160 years, I should say, and it's still owned by the family that started the brewery back in 1858 by, who could guess, Timothy Taylor.
Oh, I was really hoping you were going to say it's Thomas Taverner or something like that.
Yeah. Now, I as an aside from this, on a personal note, I always get very confused talking about Timothy Taylor as a brewery because my uncle is also called Timothy Taylor. So whenever you say, Timothy Taylor, literally that's his name, is Timothy Taylor. And so I always think, my instant reaction is, my uncle. And it's like, no, you're talking about the beer in Yorkshire.
Or is this beer not actually just referring to your uncle's landlord?
No, he's not a landlord.
See what I did there? No,
they're great.
But that's the signature beer, isn't it? Which I assume that you chaps have got as well. The classic pale ale of 4.1%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is as you said, is their kind of best known beer, Landlord. Which is quite bold to call it a classic pale ale, right?
No, it's just an accurate description. It is an absolute classic. It's beautiful. It's. Oh, go on! I'll let you go in.
Rich can have his time in the sun.
I'm holding back so we can discuss it later because I'll give Timothy Taylor due. I've been reading some of their stuff on their website, and they're doing some pretty interesting things. Okay. I will give them that. Okay, that I was reading about their trucks that were all specifically designed to carry the beer at a certain temperature, so that it is brought to the pub, so it tastes how Timothy Taylor wants you to taste it, which I think is pretty cool.
That's pretty ingenious.
I like that.
Also, the amount of awards this brewery have won over the years is pretty phenomenal.
They've got
if anyone wants to really go through that,
camera accolades coming out their ears, haven't they?
Yeah, they've won an amazing amount of awards. But singling on Landlord, because that is the beer that we are having, and as we said, it's their best known beer. So it was originally created for miners. So the working man, right?
Sorry, children. Oh man,
Wait
sorry.
Oh, that's good. That's really sidetracked. That's great.
I've also figured it because miners are also known that many of them lost their taste buds when they were down in the mine because of the amount of coal. So that explains Why they love Timothy Taylor's.
Okay, let's keep going. Okay, that's one working hypothesis we're going to put in the mix.
That's nonsense.
So, it was originally created for miners, the people working underground, digging out ore and whatever. But it was originally created to compete against local rival, which was called the Barnsley Bitter, which I've never heard of. Maybe it hasn't survived the test of time.
Rich probably thinks it's great.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's Barnsley Bitter.
Yeah.
I mean, must sell very well in Barnsley if it's still around. So, Landlord, to give it some... We talked about Timothy Taylor having won a lot of awards. Landlord has been the 4 times champion beer of Britain at the Great British Beer Festival. I mean, if you're not waving your flag right now of the Union Jack, I don't know what's going to bring out your flag after that statement.
I'm not messing about. What? I can't even believe I'm having an argument with Travis about it being nice or not. What? Just run that by me. What was that award it won 4 years in a row? No, honestly, seriously, what was the award it got? He's drinking it, Drabbers. He can't answer you because he's drinking it. Why is he drinking it? Because it's really...
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
I thought you keep telling me. So it was the champion beer of Britain at the Great British Beer Festival.
Yeah. And wait,
champion beer of Britain at the Great
British
British
see
Beer.
the panel of judges who were at the Great British Beer Award. It's just a bunch of old men, which you are, Barber. Oh,
I won't contest that, to be honest, but I can see them. I can see them in my head as well. There they are, having a really nice time, and just because none of them have got a pink Mohican doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about with beer.
That now also kind of insinuates that I have a pink Mohican right now.
Well, to be fair, you don't have a pink Mohican, but you do have a pink shirt on.
Yes,
but that's fine.
And this is bizarre. It's the man with the handlebar mustache doesn't like this beer. This is...
Okay.
None of this makes sense to me.
To quickly move this on. So, there's a reason why Landlord started getting more and more notoriety, I guess, in more recent years. So in 2003, again, we're still going back 20 years, so let's give Landlord that, given they're 160 years old. Madonna, of all people, Queen of Pop, said in an interview with Jonathan Ross that Landlord was her favourite beer, and since then it's become more widely available across the country.
Oh, mate. Me and Madonna
are we
on the same page. I think this is the first time that's happened.
Are we taking endorsements about beer from Madonna?
Yeah, she's
as endorsements go, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, the woman is a national treasure, Rich.
Yeah.
So I can't even say that without laughing.
If Dave Grohl endorsed the beer from the Foo Fighters, yes, I can get behind it, but I can't get behind Madonna endorsing the beer.
Look, there's a reason why we like Corona, and it's because Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious loves it so much.
Yes, that is a people in glass houses moment. I think there is. Man alive.
Okay, look, I'll give you that one. Vin Diesel, my absolute idol, and one of my favourite film franchises, The Fast and Furious. Yeah, okay, fine. That's you can have that one.
His endorsement, I'm being generous in saying this, his endorsement is on a par with Madonna's, I would say.
But we as an aside, we can tick this down as another great episode where we've managed to get in Vin Diesel and Corona and the Fast and Furious franchise into the episode. Tick. Who wants to do some fun facts about Timothy Taylor?
I do.
I've got one. You can go
What
first,
is it?
Just the Timothy Taylor's team are jacked.
Yeah, legit. We bumped into them at the London Craft Beer Festival, and we thought they were the bouncers. And they were there promoting the new craft beer. I can't remember the name of the craft beer, but they are trying to.
It's called Hopical Storm.
That was
it's their pale ale.
Yeah. Did you like that one, Rich?
I thought it was called Agua, which is Spanish for water.
It's not, is it? Yeah, I can't really remember it now. That's probably a good sign of the craft beer festival, but it's pretty good as I remember. I'm more of a Landlord kind of guy.
Yeah, I think this is so. Hopical Storm has got a slightly different branding. It's a very Timothy Taylor's, but they're really pushing behind it. So this is their attempt at kind of capturing on the pale ale crafty scene, right? I must say, hand on heart, someone who does like Timothy Taylor beers, my favourite pub in London that I go to for my odd cheeky lunchtime, kind of beverage and like pie is a Timothy Taylor pub, which is great. But I must say their Hopical Storm didn't really cut it for me. It didn't quite have the same flavour that I would expect from a crafty, kind of like pale ale, which is what they're trying to encapsulate. I much prefer their Landlord.
Yeah, fair enough. Sorry, I do know an interesting fact about Timothy Taylor's Landlord. So they're 1858, they originated. I'm trying to give you guys a bit of a steer as to figure out what it is, but do you know where or why it originated, and also potentially in the context of why beer to a certain extent exists as it does today as well?
No, please tell.
Well, do you remember, I'm sure we covered this in a previous episode, about how beer actually was at one point was created because it was better for people to drink than water, because the water sources were so sort of dirty and contaminated and that sort of thing. I think the thing with Timothy Taylor's Landlord is it's not absolutely defined as a causal relationship, but Timothy Taylor, the original, I don't know if we've had repeats of his name since, but his brother-in-law, a man called Charles Akerd, died from typhoid.
Oh, wow.
Which he contracted from drinking contaminated water.
Well, that's a horrible way to go.
Well, yeah. I mean, silver lining, Timothy Taylor's Landlord. Shouldn't make light of man's death, but that is potentially, that happened in 1858, and that is they think, what particularly stirred Timothy Taylor's interest in brewing.
Nice. I mean, I know that the brewery itself is still supplied from this water comes from the artesian well, the Knoll Spring. So maybe this is like where they've moved to in Knightley, in kind of in Yorkshire. But they say that they only use whole hops that are used in their brewing. The yeast strain actually originally came from the Oldham Brewery, which is obviously a very traditional, old school, kind of long-standing brewery. But they say that actually, as the time of writing on, that 80% of their production is for cask-conditioned products. So you get them in the pub, basically. And any bottled products, like the ones we're having right now, is actually contracted and created by the Robinson's Brewery, which we have touched on the Robinson's Brewery before, I think. It's another brewery out in Yorkshire. So, again, they are very much catered, as Landlord is from the name, they are very much conditioned towards that cask in the pub, on trade environment.
Yeah, and you know, I thought also, just speaking to its origins in that sort of Yorkshire neck of the woods, I mean, we haven't actually been talking about beers and their sort of appearances of late. We've been focusing on the taste a little bit, but this does also, if you look at it, it's got a real old school English pub vibe, hasn't it? Proper. Well, that's a way to describe it, but brown bottle, sort of yellowy gold and green all over the label, old school sort of pump, a barman at the pump. It's just got old school, slightly farmy vibes, maybe a little bit farm, sort of country better than farmyard, but I think it's a nice, wholesome, tasty beer.
You know what? I feel bad for saying a lot of bad stuff about Timothy Taylor's, and if anybody from Timothy Taylor's does listen to this and would like to prove me wrong, I am all up for recommendations on what I should try from their brewery and what would change my mind. I am open to this.
Or write into us. I'll tell you Rich's address and you can go and beat him up.
So quite something funny. I was just looking a bit more into Timothy Taylor, and on their website they've got the about us or our brewers. If you guys, I've just sent you a link on our chat. To go and look at it. They've got they've got a head brewer and 3 senior brewers. And this looks like a collection of mad scientists. Their headshots, each one of them is a bit eccentric, to say the least. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, that's it.
It's Andrew. Andrew, the head brewer, is my kind of guy.
Yeah. So they are making some real chemistry buffs, is all I'm kind of going down to. These guys really focus their life on crafting beer from the molecular level. That's all I can think of when I look at these four places there. I mean, yeah, okay, don't get me wrong. Timothy Taylors need to work on their diversity because these are four white men, so they do need to work on how are they introducing, new age brewing into it. But this is Timothy Taylor's. It's been around for a very, very, very long time. Still very much family owned. It's not known, let's say, or they aren't going to be pioneers in whatever area it is, that this is very much about popular culture right now. I will add one last thing on that all their packaged beers are certified vegan friendly. So there you go. That's a nice thing to finish on with Timothy Taylor's.
You don't always think of that with the breweries that have been around 100 plus years, do you? I mean, to be honest, even less than that. If there's a brewery 30 plus years ago, you don't think there's that. Think of that as something they might have factored in. But I don't know. It's always going to go down well, isn't it?
So Instagram, they have 11k followers. Mm-hmm. On Twitter, they have 17.6k followers.
Oh, okay.
So I think Timothy Taylor, we can add that to that list of well-known institutional beers that are well-known to the English populace. Obviously a long-standing history in the Yorkshire region. I think they're trying with their Hopical Storm to appeal to a slightly different beer drinker out there. Let's face it, they've been around for, what was it? 150, sorry, they were around for...
Best part of 160, yeah.
But they've celebrated, I should add this out, they've celebrated their 194th birthday. So they've got to be closer now. And that was in 2020. So 2 more years and they'll have celebrated their 200th year anniversary.
Blimey.
That's crazy.
That is fairly impressive.
I mean, if you start a business and you know that it's going to be over 200 years old by the time it, and it's still going, I mean, wow. Yeah. That's it. That's an achievement and a half there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Beg pardon if Rich and I have gone quiet. I think it's because both of us want last word on the beer anyway. I'll let him say
I'll stop mediating and I will let you two have your final words about Timothy Taylor's. I'll go. Let's go Drabbers first. No, Barber first. Let's go Barber first.
No, let's go the Drabbers go first.
Go Drabbers first.
Okay. Look, I, as you probably guessed, I'm not a fan of Timothy Taylor's, and I would hold my hand up. It is not my cup of tea. I don't think it's got that much flavour, and I think their Hopical Storm was not great. It was just a very weak, hoppy-less beer that I sampled. But I haven't tried all they have to offer. I haven't tried all of their beers, so I'm open to have my mind changed. And I'm willing to continue trying Timothy Taylor's to see if there is something that I like. There we go.
In response, I would say, Richard, I completely respect your opinion and believe you are completely entitled to it. I would contest your idea that there is no flavour to this beer. I think there is. I think there are notes of hops. I think it's a beautiful, lovely, golden, delicious, wonderful beer. I think it's, if it's not too grandiose of me to say, I think it's shaped beer history. It's the reason we have the beers that we have today, because of beers like Timothy Taylor's Landlord. And I heartily implore anyone who's not given it a try before to do it. I think it stands out even amongst those other classic pale ales. It calls itself the classic pale ale. I think that's an absolutely suitable description. You're not meant to laugh.
Well, there you have it, folks. You've heard both sides of the Timothy Taylor coin, so try it. Let us know what you think.
Although you haven't heard Joe say that actually he really likes it.
Yeah, no, to be fair, Timothy Taylor Landlord is a good tipple of mine. I enjoy it. But I
win.
I agree with Travis, though. I think their Hopical Storm needs a lot of work. I don't think it's that great.
I still win.
I feel like the Hopical Storm is a bunch of people who think they know what craft beer drinkers want, and they've tried to create it, but they haven't nailed it. So I would say Travis, you and I can incubate with them. We could help them with their taste profile, and we could help them create a better a better beer, more accustomed to the craft beer consumer.
Yes.
Me and my squad will keep drinking Landlord.
So basically, there's something for everyone, which is great.
Apart from me.
And that we'll live with.
It's not called Richard Drabwell's.
That's true. You keep working on your own beers, mate.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barber,
and Simo,
goodbye. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com.
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.